Aw yeah, it's Shadow of the Colossus, baby. We're gonna go to the options menu here so it doesn't go to a splash screen. Oh boy. What is there to say about this game that already kind of hasn't been said before? It's fantastic, it's gorgeous, it's wonderful, it's fun, it's engaging, it's got good storytelling, it's got incredible music, wonderfully weird controls, and it's just great. You know, this is one of those games that comes up in the games or art category of games. This game is just wonderful. I'm going to leave it on here for a minute, just so you guys can see while I talk. So, we're running this on PC SX2. This is a very, very difficult game to get running because it pretty much pushes anything to the absolute limit because it pushed the actual hardware of the PS2 to its actual limit. Speaking of such, hey editing self, remember to put the picture of the game up so people know you're not just cheating. So yeah, I recently bought this a few weeks ago for about 20 bucks on, I believe, Amazon. from a used seller. It actually came with pretty much everything. So I was very, very stoked. And, I mean, I've played it in the past, but still, man, $20 for the whole thing with even the little PlayStation Underground registration card, which, oh my god, where'd I put that damn thing? It's on the table here. I love these because they're just a blast. The PlayStation Underground is the place to be. For gamers who want to be in the know, there's only one place to go, the PlayStation Underground. And I love how it just says here, what types of PlayStation and or PlayStation 2 games do you prefer? I love how sports and extreme sports are separate. That is amazing to me. But we're not talking about amazing sports. No. We're talking about Shadow of the Colossus. This game came out in 2005. Now, this game isn't very long. This was my first playthrough. It took 6 hours. This is on my New Game Plus doing time trials. That took 2 hours to do all those. And about 4 hours for that one. And then you can see there was my last playthrough. And I just kind of fiddle-faddled around with a hard mode. Basically, this game's not very long when you know what you're doing. It's the best way to describe it is adventure puzzle game, because once you start really playing it, it starts to feel more like a puzzle game. But it's still very fun. Now, you can play this game on the PS4. There's a remake out, I believe, for $40 as of right now. That's done pretty well from what I understand, and they add their little bits and bobs you can collect in the world, which honestly I think is a good addition, because there's a lot of empty space in the world. Those of you who don't know about the development of this game, it's notoriously missing a lot of stuff that was possibly going to be added. Like, there was, I think, going to be 24 Colossi. There's only 16 in this game. There's 24. There's like a spider one. There was a different Buddha-style one. There was like a Quetzalcoatl one. There was like not a million, but there was quite a lot of, you know, different enemies they could have put in the game, but they didn't have enough time. There's areas that just don't get used, unfortunately. Maybe that's for the better, but this is a game that I wish I played back in the day. Now, a little bit of history, because I am going to be doing one video per Colossus, and then, of course, a bonus video. And then, of course, I'll also do the time trials as their own separate video, like I did with my Silent Hill 2 speedrun, which I wish I could do better, but I'm like, no, it's good enough for now. But yeah, I played this game, I think when I was 18 or 19. I think I was just out of high school. I had 2 friends who played this game, and I only heard about it from them. And when I was a kid, I saw this in stores, you know. I actually was kind of afraid of it. I'm like, oh, that looks scary. I don't want to play that. I want to play my Jak and Daxter with my cool shit. You know, I was too good for Shadow of the Colossus, you know. I wish I was kidding. I have not played Ico or Eco. I'm not sure how you say it. I know that there's only 3 games that company has made. This game, Last Guardian, and Ico. They're not like the craziest games ever, but I would recommend playing Shadow of the Colossus at least one time. But yeah, I hadn't played it until I was 19. I'm gonna say 19. I had friends show me stuff from it. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But my friend had bought it on PS3, so this is around the time the HD remake came out. And I was like, oh, cool, we'll play it. And we played the whole game in one sitting, and I was like, this game's fucking awesome. And it stuck with me forever. And then I remember watching Lobos Jr. do a slow run of it and a speed run back in the day. I was like, God, I love that game. And that was before I got into PS2 emulation properly. Like I said, I actually do own this copy of the game. I bought this recently, and I do emulate all my PS2 games and PS1 games legally. I actually did extract the BIOS from those. It's not really complicated. It's not hard to do. You do need a very good PC to do this. You can look at my PC specs in the description. I have it in every single video. Even my old shitty computer and my old shitty videos. But yeah, you're going to need some pretty good beef to run this on an emulator. I did have to change a few things. I had to up the game speed, I think, a tiny bit. I'll put that in the description as well, my options I use specifically for this game to make it not have any real issue. Because it pushes it, it really does. It pushed the PS2 to its limits, too. But yeah, I never played this. back when I was a kid, and I really wish I had, because god damn, this game is incredible. I mean, keep in mind, I'd played games like Jak and Daxter 1 through 3, which I swear to God, if I played this game when I was a kid, I would have shit my pants and been like, this is the best shit ever. Because I still do love those games, and I will play them someday, but Jesus, dude, this game is like a natural evolution of that kind of gameplay, and I love it. As far as difficulty goes, I'm going to be playing on normal. Normal and hard mode, you can only get hard mode once you finish the game. Hard mode just adds like new spots on the Colossus to hit. It also adds a few mechanics like increased fall damage. If a Colossus steps on you, it will kill you instantly, as God intended, you know. And I believe your grip strength drains slightly faster, but don't quote me on that. The time trial mode after New Game Plus gives you different items than the regular New Game, which is kind of weird, but, you know, if you're playing on PS3 or PS4, there's a lot of achievements you can unlock, specifically for finding the geckos, or sorry, lizards, the fruit, stuff like that. And yes, I will include a bonus video of me showing you how to get to the top of the Shrine of Worship, which is admittedly pretty hard. It took me a good solid hour, and I did it about 8 times now, so I'm pretty comfortable doing it. I'll still be showing it off with emulated like save states just to save brevity, because there's a lot of shit that can go wrong doing it. But yeah, I actually recently picked this up because I was talking to a coworker the other day, and I don't even remember how. I was saying how some things can feel dreamlike, and I brought this game up. And this other guy comes in and he says, oh, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, Shadow of the Colossus. He's like, oh yeah, spoiler alert, the horse dies. And I just said, no it fucking doesn't, like really mad. I like instantly got mad. I was like, no it doesn't. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, it doesn't die. Did you actually play the game? And then I was like, I'm gonna buy this game. I fucking love this game. Why don't I own it? And so that's why we're here right now. So, yes, I absolutely love Shadow of the Colossus. It's always been one of my favorite games that I wish I owned as a kid. But this is the magic of emulation and the magic of being a goddamn adult. You can buy your own things. I literally just opened up an entire box of Photon Hypernova for Yu-Gi-Oh! Right before this, so shows you how much of an adult I am, right? I love how much I rip on people for being nerds and weebs, but I love Yu-Gi-Oh! So much. Anyways, so we're going to be doing video by video, Colossus by Colossus. I will be showing you guys some of the fruits and the lizards. I don't think they're entirely necessary to get. Don't scream at me if I miss one. But yeah, for the most part, I do know what I'm doing. Obviously, I've played the game 4 times, technically. These 3, and then I did the entire time trial, so 4 times, technically. And then I did a bit of a test record to see how it would work. So, yeah. Other thing, too, if you're willing to put down just $20 and you have the ability to emulate it, go for it. It's the cheapest way possible. I don't condone piracy, obviously. I'm not going to burn this as an ISO and be like, here you go, fam! No, if you want to buy this, there's the PSN, there's the remake version. I personally always say I go for the original game because that's the way it was meant to be played. On, well, technically original hardware, but, you know, if I'm being real, the advantage of emulating as well is the fact that you can actually push the hardware that it was designed for to make the game run better, and this is an example. I honestly think just emulating this looks better than the PS3 remake, and I don't think there's anything wrong with the PS4 one, but I just don't really like remakes as a whole. But, you know, that's your own discretion to use. This won't be a super long series. It's probably only going to be about 4, maybe 5 hours total. I believe cutscenes add time to your in-game time, but it doesn't matter. I will use save states on like 1, maybe 2 portions because I really don't want to waste another 10 minutes if I fuck it up. That's not me being bad because, like I always say, I can play these games in in a vacuum and not like focus too hard talking at the same time, and it's a lot easier. So don't hate me if I have to. I'm only going to be doing it on like Colossus 15 because that one is absolutely the worst in my opinion, but we'll get into that later. And 16 because there's one jump in particular that's kind of nasty, but other than that, I'm not really going to be using any bullshit here. I'll try to describe as much trivia as I know. I only know as much as I do. I mean, this is not like Silent Hill 2. I have not dissected this game as much as that. But I hope you guys are going to enjoy it, so let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to be playing in normal. Like I said, hard mode in the HD remake. I don't think you can do this, but in the PS4 version, you can start immediately in hard mode if you want to. But in normal, like, you have to beat the game first, which is fine. And all the items you unlock are only for that game file too. It's weird, but let's get into it. I'm also drinking some homemade kombucha on the side here. And before the cutscenes really get going, I'm going to point out, I'm going to check the audio after this video. There's no audio mixing option for this game. It's just the emulator, and that's all I can go on. Also, just try to remember this game came out in 2005, so anything along the lines of, it's pretty rough looking. Like, yeah, you can see the jaggedness on those rocks down there, but everything else, I still can't let it, like, escape my mind. I'm like, god damn, this is 2005. And before I also let the cutscenes go, just remember this spot, because I'll point it out way, way later in the playthrough. Oh, and you can move the camera too, during some cutscenes. And mind you, I love the music in this game so much.
I use the Yulakordoloya. Olik, Olazulam, Kaz. Ilzozeriku Zoko. Amnos Crudo. Laomism Wop. Was you and the Ulas also? View houses in view. Equal Kizado Yulola. Islis Ozaiku. Aumizquiki. You are la Quika.
Alula Ostu Hailua Wuku Aikua Ujiku Yazu Tsudoko Was Nordekyo Utiula
I will you
Izukyumku Iduse Orodo Yu Iweriko It's not ours amuso Alu Tiklik if the least to Iso
Osondo Izo Yuna Ezaka Oz Izo Aunaka You echoes you Edoli no Ku
Uranora Oyu I'll bet
I was beauty wall, no sunken kiss, no quarrels. Onozo's around. I were consumed. Ale was not you were dead. You were you. No.
You do You bet Sanada
I hope was no suit. Oh, you and beer, I answer. Was you and beer, Oriku, Zula, Ukira Jewel. No suit, Yoya, I'll do
Oram
You are the widow, you will yell. Oil, I will shoot it.
Ora You do new
All right. And we're in control again.
You, I would do it.
So first things first, it's gonna probably make someone mad that I know how to do this, but shoot up there, and then you'll be like, what the hell did you just do in the first 2 seconds of the game, Seth? Well, there is lizards in this game that when you kill them, or take their tail off, you can get more stamina. So yeah, just ignore the on-screen instructions because I have everything remapped. This game has some funky controls, but they're not super difficult to get down. So, left stick moves you around. Your name is Wander. The horse's name is Aggro. In this version it's called male, in the other versions it's female. It doesn't really matter. Mono is the girl over there on the pedestal. Dorman is the deity that they're, like, speaking to. And, yeah. So, left stick moves you around. Right stick moves your camera. You can also hit L1 to lock onto Colossi. When you're in battle, at least. It'll do this right now when we're in here. So it'll actually say, hey, that's the one we need to kill. And L2 will actually just sort of center the camera. It's really handy for getting everything back to normal. R2 will also do a kind of zoom in as well. Pretty cool. X button for me is to call aggro over. Now you can also... Now, for me, I have it set to square to jump. You can also climb on top of him. Now, you can also just kick the horse to make him move faster. And you can also hold back and X to make him stop. And this is really handy for some sections of the game. And you can also hold forward X to make him start up quicker. You can also stand on the horse as well in the reins if you do this. Like... You can do some pretty funky stuff in this game. It's a very fun game to control. It's very noodly and floaty. So for me, square is to jump. The longer you push the button, the higher your jump arc. You can just kind of hoppity hippity hop if you want to. You can also hold R1. Sorry, yeah, R1 for me is my function button. I don't know what else you want to call it. You can do this little sassy walk if you want. You can also hold R1 and square, and you'll do a jump. This is actually faster than moving. It looks goofy, but it's pretty good. It's a great dodge move when you're in actual fighting. Circle for me is my attack button. You can also do a chop in the air if you do this really quickly. Now, I'd like to point this out. This I never use, like, ever, because it's pretty easy to infer as well. Wander is not a swordsman. He is a archer, because you can see just how efficiently he uses his bow. It's little stuff like that. Now, let's call aggro over real quick. Now, you can also jump on aggro by holding the jump button. I usually just use the grab button to make sure I land on him. So if you also do this, so if we, let me see if I can do it. It's kind of hard to do, but you can kind of side move. Yeah, like this. It's pretty impractical, but you can do that too. Also, if you have your hands equipped, you can just tap your action button. Yeah. Duh. This also increases your stamina regen when you're on your horse quicker too. The horse cannot die. You can see that if you also draw your bow, he freaks out and he bolts off. The horse is unkillable. No, the horse, as my coworker called it, does not die in the game. I hate to spoil it. I probably spoiled it for somebody, but the horse does not die. You can see when I pull back, you can do these kind of pissy shots like this, but the longer you hold down your attack button, the more velocity behind your arrows. There's other items you can get from time attacks, but it's not really that important, honestly. There's a couple of cool things you can do as well. Like, actually, I might as well show it off here. So, pretty much anything in this game that looks like it can be grabbed can probably be grabbed. So if you see like a ledge like this on the edge of the statue here, we can also climb up it. It's a little tricky. So a lot of this game is very, very, very nice in that it lets you just climb on everything and pretty much anything. I guess these you can't, but either way, you can always test if something's grabbable by just holding the R1 button. And when you have your sword out, this is how you do the plunge attack. You have to have the squat button to do that. This is mainly just used for killing Colossi. Now, for me, triangle is the raise button. This is also the pickup button and the activate button. I just find this control scheme to be pretty handy. We also have a map if we want to look around. If you have the other items that you get from time trials, this is where you actually add them onto your character. Some of them stack, some of them don't. They're pretty cool, but you're not really missing out. So other things you can do, just off the top of my head, is, well, the best way to explain this game's controls is imagine it's just the most noodly thing ever, because it kind of is. So you can also just hold down X when you're on aggro and you'll keep his speed. Also, it should be pointed out, aggro is not actually like a speed horse. He's clearly a thoroughbred. Like, this is a horse designed for endurance, not for long term. I think someone also clocked him in at about 50 miles an hour, which is pretty impressive. The horse doesn't get tired either. So you have to get used to controlling both aggro and wander. They're kind of separate, but you can't jump in the horse. You can only jump off of the horse. So this is another mechanic you can do, is you can find these trees. We can shoot these down. Well, my test record, I lost the fruit. It even makes a cool, sweet PlayStation 2 startup sound. So yeah, I will go straight to the Colossus in a minute. I just want to show some stuff off before we get going, because like I said, I'm going to do this Colossus by Colossus. I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of the crazy shit like going to the far ends of the map just to get one fruit. So the fruits increase your health, the lizards increase your stamina. You can carry over stamina and health from new game to new game. This game does have a new game plus system as well. The best way to describe it is I don't think you really need it, personally, because you get like stamina from killing colossi naturally. So right here, if I stop here, this is where all the cool shit's at, okay? This is where the cool players go. We'll come back here later. But for the most part, the entire map is open. You can actually walk across this bridge as well. Everything you can see, you can pretty much climb on. And there's ways to get into areas that you're not supposed to be able to get into. Some areas are just completely pointless. No, I don't want to pet aggro. I want to show this off. So you can also hold the sword down like this, and you can see that there's these beams. So they actually close in on the areas you need to be in. So you cannot kill any Colossus in any order. The game has a very specific set of Colossi you kill in a specific way, and that's it. There's 16, there's no 17th one, despite all the shit you can probably find on the internet saying otherwise. And the best way to describe this game is literally just like a puzzle game, I'd guess. Just the scale is so beautiful. This game is what my dreams feel like sometimes, honestly. Because just look at this shit, dude! This was 2005, and this is why I like to point out. So when people say games need to be remade, I just say, this is so impressive just for when it came out. And I've seen people say, oh, it's just a tech demo. It's not really that impressive of a game. I kind of agree with that. This game is very artsy as hell. It's, like I said, very short when you know what you're doing. But there's a couple other mechanics here, so if we could look over there, let me see if I can pan the camera over. Like right in front of me is actually where a save spot is. Let's see if I can look over here. You can also grab on those birds too. You can grab on everything. You can grab on fish, fucking birds, everything but turtles pretty much. So you can see that little green building over there? That's a save shrine. Every single one of those has a lizard on it that you can kill. The green... Sorry, green. Wow. So the regular lizards that are black that you see all across the place, those don't actually give you anything for killing them. There's also turtles. They don't do anything. You can't even kill them. The only thing you can do is fall. The fish don't do anything to you. But it's also a good indication, a lot of the landscape just doesn't seem to be bothered by you because it's forbidden land. There's no humans. And, you know, I've seen a lot of players compare this to Dark Souls 1. I kind of can see that, but they're very different games mechanically. But yeah, Shadow of the Colossus is technically an all boss fights game. There's no side enemies, there's no bullshit like Hentai Island. There's none of that. It's a very much to the point kind of game. Now, I do know what I'm doing, so that's that. But this game is incredibly unforgiving when you make mistakes. As in, I'm going to be doing shit that looks weird, so don't try to do it yourself. I'm going to make this look really easy in some spots, but you're going to have to go to the realization that it took me a long time to get to this point. So this is where the first Colossus is at. They all have unofficial names that the community kind of calls them. So most arenas you also can't bring aggro into. Some you can. So every time you get a cutscene like this, this is your indicator that this is a arena you need to fight in. And once you kill a Colossus, you can actually go back to their corpse and you can even like redo the fight. It doesn't count as a time trial though. So just ignore this stuff on screen. You can see what I mean. Most things like grass, moss, hair, stuff like that, you can always climb onto. Now, I will say this right now, this game is weird as a control. But you know, you get really used to it pretty quick. It took me about 20 minutes to really dial in the controls because there's a lot of little subtle things like how you have to maneuver your body. Like if you get flung around, you have to actually reposition yourself a lot. There's really no random number generation shit in this game. Everything the Colossi do is very deliberate. I wouldn't say I'm proficient at this game either, so if I fuck up, expect it. Especially this first one because it's so brutal how little stamina you actually have. Speaking of that, hell yeah, man. This is the first Colossus you fight. The first two are easy mode, and then the rest are just like, alright, fuck it, you know what you're doing. Which is awesome. So we can hold L1 and the camera actually pans on him. We can hit X, and this will actually piss the Colossus off. You can see he's like, what the fuck was that nonsense? And then now he's going to try and turn to me. You can also shoot them with arrows to do a little bit of damage, but that doesn't kill them. So you can see that Dorman says some shit. I don't really care. Just jab at this fucker right here. Okay, we need to jump on his butt fur. Now, this is what I'm talking about. You see how I'm moving the controls? It's hard to explain while just watching, but I'm actually moving the sticks to keep myself balanced here. It's a very, very deliberate game. And you can see the game's controls also explained here as well. So, my attack is actually, shit. Yeah, my attack is shit. But, my attack button's circle. Oh, Jesus. We gotta get up there quick. Okay. Oh, a little bit of a frame drop. Oh, God. So, you can also hit crouch while you're on top of a Colossus in certain spots, and you'll regain your stamina quicker. The humanoid Colossi are very fucking hard. So you can also grab onto them like this, and you can also jab them. You can't kill Colossi doing that. You can only chip off a certain amount of health, and then you have to hit these sigils right here. So you're probably like, this looks really easy, Seth. What's so hard about this? Oh boy, trust me. It gets brutal really fast. This first one only has one sigil on normal, but on hard he has two. He has one on his left arm. But oh no! He's dead! He falls to the ground with a mighty ogre roar. And that music really doesn't make you feel like you did a good thing, does it? And oh no, spooky tentacles! Oh dear! Better get away from those. Alright, cool, we made it. Oh shit. And that's 100% normal, by the way. So, yeah. The fuck was that all about, right? And spooky sounds and imagery. I guess you'll get to wait till you see the next one to see what goes on. I'll see you then.